Yeah, I wouldn't either because loads is an entirely separate resource in games. It would be like allowing somebody to use like a load for a animal handling resources. They're separate resources. I'd be more inclined if load wasn't listed as a resource. Hey, Jeff. No worries. Zach's running late. I saw that. Yeah. I'm just happy that they're taking advantage of the doctor's regeneration to spread it. Maybe. The whole reason he left is because everybody was ticked off the way he was fighting things. Yeah, like, I didn't mind Jodie Whittaker as the doctor. I think generally after about 20 seasons or so, it's like switching Yeah. I think David Tennant was great, but I think a lot of people jumped on board Doctor Who at that point, and it's kind of like James Bond and stuff. Like, whichever doctor you came on board with has to be your doctor. I like Matt Smith, so I like that they all bring something different to the character, as opposed to just playing the same character. So, since it's just been a little while, all right. So, last time you guys journeyed to the northern realms, to the lands of Vanir and Asgard, two countries that are almost constantly at war with one another. Going home to Ragnar's home of Asgard to take part in a gathering of the clans, a thing where they will discuss leadership and policies. And Ragnar is hoping that he can get over the exile that his family faced. En route, not far out of the coastal cities of Anaheim, you encountered a small contingent of Hyborian slavers who had captured a few people, dealt with the slavers rather handedly, and released the slaves. One of the slaves, named Zoloff, explained that he had hired the other two, a shield maiden and a young warrior, as mercenaries to try to recover this item, this hunting horn. Said, thank you for the rescue. By the way, would you mind helping us retrieve this item? And people's interest kind of got piqued when he mentioned that it would probably be worth a considerable amount of money and social cachet amongst the Asgardians. This horn, the Horn of Hrolf, has been missing for quite a while, and it is a great ceremonial item to the Asgardian people. So Ragnar sees this as a way to get some good graces, Some of the rest of you see this as an opportunity to make some money on this trip into this forbidden snowy wasteland. But you agreed to help retrieve the horn. By doing so, you infiltrated a festival to Ymir, to the frost god. The horn was being held in a temple that the festival was around. The temple was up on a little bit of a hillock. Taking advantage of the drunken nature of the various warriors, you snuck through the camp, managed to actually steal the horn without instigating any violence, which is
Weird.
very, very weird for this group. Some fast talking, some schmoozing, some well placed distractions.
There was breaking and entering.
There was some breaking and entering. And you managed to get probably a kilometer or two away from the festival before over the howl of the winds you hear the hunting horns and the baying of hounds, and realizing that although you've put some distance between you and the encampment, the jig is in fact up. And with that, it is early evening. It's probably going to be quote unquote dark in an hour or so, but you're so far north in Asgard at this point that at this time of year the sun never truly sets. What would you guys like to do?
Well, I'm kind of missing Zabibi at the moment, but
we are ahead of them a ways, right?
You've got about a kilometer or two on them. I will get anybody who has the lore skill can give me a lore check. Or actually, or if you have animal handling.
neither for me.
Clytius will straight on ahead till somebody tells him different.
Does Rory have lore?
Yeah, I have lore.
Hey, you can give me a lore check. Right. The baying of hounds. Obviously, the warriors here, the festival goers, have hunting hounds. You're familiar with the hunting hounds they use back home in Cimmeria. You imagine the Asgardian ones or the Vanir ones probably aren't much different. So they're much more akin to a wolf than a dog.
Oh boy.
And they are very, very well trained to track by scent.
Yay.
Settling.
Well, gentlemen, here's what I'm thinking. I'm thinking that the chances of us outrunning a pack of dogs and a bunch of horsemen is pretty slim, yeah?
Possibly. I mean, who knows? Maybe bad weather will set in.
Yeah, if we were only so lucky. Maybe it's best we find a defensible position.
Probably a good idea.
So you guys start making your way, and you do know between Olaf, the guy that has quote unquote hired you, and Ragnar, that in order to get from where you are into Asgard, you do need to cross what are referred to as the Blue Mountains, which is a... For those of you that are from South, for Clytius and for Caro, the Blue Mountains, like you guys right now are kind of in the foothills of them, and they're already much higher than what you are used to. And the mountain range looming in the distance, they are tall enough that they are packed with snow and ice. It is an honest-to-God mountain range as opposed to whatever little hills and stuff that they may have in the southern lands.
Boy, we got real mountains up here.
So there must be a way through or something, right?
There are pathways to some extent. The pathways do tend to be patrolled and guarded by the Asgardians of the Vanir, depending on whoever is holding any given pass at any given moment. But yeah, it is still extremely rugged terrain. Like the little ponies that you picked up, the kind of like northern ponies, they're pretty rugged little beasties. They seem to be perhaps part goat. They are very, very sure-footed. It's more a question of how much is the cart itself going to slow you down going through some of this terrain.
Rory, do we know that you picked up a spell?
You probably would have noticed that I've been spending an inordinate amount of time visiting Zabibi.
But we don't know that you actually have the spell that you have.
Well, no, because Captain hasn't exactly been appreciative of sorcery.
True. I'm just trying to think out strategy. Like if I knew you could do it, then I would say do it. But
let's just say there's no way in hell I'm going to attempt it without something in the momentum pool.
Right. All right, Claudius. I guess my best bet is to get as much distance as we can, find a place that we can at least limit how many can come out of this at once. I don't think we're going to outrun them.
All right, Clytius will start looking for a choke point as we proceed.
Right. Why don't you give me a let's call it a warfare check.
Oof, not my best.
I got a 9.
Actually, I'll put it this way. If you're looking for a place where you can perhaps ambush them, that will be a warfare check. If you're looking for a place where you can basically just kind of hunker down and hope maybe they pass or something of that nature, like a cave or something, that would be a survival check.
Okay, I'll roll survival.
Okay.
I'll assist. Yeah, cave would be great. Because we're going to have to fight him.
Difficulty 1?
Yeah, as you start to move into the footholds, there are a fair number of hills and caves and the like here. It's really just a matter of finding one that is like large enough, because you don't want to be like, you want the cave to be large enough you guys can get a significant way in.
Gotcha.
Rerolls all around if we want them.
Okay.
Two.
All right. So yeah, so as you guys make your way with your ponies, and you're moving at a fair clip, because you know that although the ponies are sturdy and rugged, they're not the speediest of animals.
Yeah, we're not slowing down.
So you are kind of keeping your eye open, and you do spot a cave as you're kind of going through this. It's probably not a constructed path or anything, but it is like a little narrow pathway that leads higher up into the mountains, to the point where you are starting to see like a little bit of snow on the rocks here and there. And you do spot a cave entrance, and as you kind of get a little bit closer, it looks like it goes back a fair ways, enough that you could get into it and not be immediately visible from somebody who was going by the by.
All right. I think we found a course, Captain.
Good enough for me.
Where the NC
Ragnar, you guard this entrance. We're going to take a look inside the cave.
Yes, sir.
Let us know once they get close. So I think the plan, Chris, is assuming there's not a cave bear or something in here. To
Oh yeah, that would never happen.
basically, I'm pretty sure we can't get away from them. So we need to find a way to fight them as individually as possible.
Gotcha.
Because I think you said there was like a dozen or more of them.
It depends on how many they rallied from the camp. Like a lot of the people at the festival were, heavily intoxicated, or otherwise occupied. There were literally
Sure.
hundreds at the camp.
Some of them may have died trying to mount their horses.
So
Wasn't there one really like epic looking dude?
there is, yes. You guys heard his name as Rorik.
Yeah, the plate armor guy.
Yeah, and he had a couple other plate wearing people with him, and they had like full on war horses.
Yeah, problem.
But yes, there's a little bit of a cave entrance. It's partially hidden by some scrawny little like scrub brush trees. So it is possible if if you stay in the cave, it's possible they may just bypass you. You're not entirely sure.
Aye, Captain, if you don't mind, I think what I'm going to go do is try to scrub our trail so that maybe the wolves can't find us.
If you think you can pull it off, we'll see about doing a quick exploration in here, and then
Yeah, like I said, I'll just nip outside here a bit and have a look around and see what we can take care of and if we can make things happen.
all right. Pray for snow.
Aye,
Sorry.
well,
Captain.
where we are, that's easily possible. So I am going to wander out to a safe spot, and I'm going to play around with my sorcery.
Okay. All right. So yeah, so you're gonna leave everybody at the cave entrance. And wander a ways a little bit.
Just a smidge.
Just a smidge.
Yeah, someplace I can get a good look over the landscape.
Okay.
Probably like maybe behind a tree.
Yeah, and like you guys have been steadily kind of going up in elevation, so you can easily find a place where you can kind of get a good vantage point. You can give me an observation check if you like.
Yay.
So yeah, so you do. I mean, it is, even though it is getting on towards 10 o'clock in the evening or so, it is still well lit, and you can see a distance off. Not enough to make it any detail, but you can definitely see the gleam of the sunlight on armor, and probably about a dozen or so shapes moving. You would guess probably about half of them are hunting hands. They seem to be smaller, a little bit closer to the ground. So you figure a little ways off. Probably if they're following you, they would probably be on your location within the next hour and a half, 2 hours maybe. So there's probably about 6 hunting hounds and then about 6 handlers or hunters.
Pleasant. So, with that in mind, so how does the casting part work?
Alrighty. So, in order to cast a spell, the first thing you want to do is you want to focus. If you don't focus, you get a complication on a 19 or 20.
Gotcha.
And sorcery is inherently dangerous. Each die that fails causes a complication. And if that die that fails happens to be a 20, it causes 2 complications.
Oh, lovely.
And sorcery complications are bad.
Other than that, when you roll, like all spells have an inherent difficulty, and then the momentum that you generate, you can spend. I think under journal entries, you should have access to the Venom on the Wind momentum spend chart.
Yep. Yeah, it's kind of cool. Call Rain is probably what I would be aiming for at 2 momentum. Because, I mean, that should wipe out Scent, I would.
Yep. All right. And at whatever weather you conjure up will last for 1 scene plus 1 scene per momentum. And it affects everything within what is extreme range, so more than 3 zones away from you. So it is quite a wide area of effect.
Oh, yeah, that's yeah. We're going to do our best to make sure it's away from us.
So other than that, so you take a moment to kind of focus.
Yep.
And
Yeah,
then
no snap casting. Fuck no.
But this is why having things that give you bonus momentum on sorcery is great, because then you have more things to pick from on the chart.
Yep.
And give me a sorcery roll.
Okay.
And it does take you 1 resolve to cast the spell.
Ah, yes, the hurting myself. Okie dokie, let's have a look here. Seems odd it won't let me alter my resolve.
Uh, hmm.
Yeah.
All right,
There-
so if you over the current, if you right click, it should drop it by 1.
Ah, right clicking. I gotcha. I was trying to left click.
Yeah, left click raises it.
Gotcha. That almost seems too simple.
Yeah.
So,
And there is for spellcasting too, there is an option for casting for consequence, which the game master can determine that let's make this a little bit more risky for you, in which case you choose the effect that you want first, basically the momentum cost, and that becomes the difficulty for the spell. And then you roll, and for every success you don't get, you take a complication, but the spell happens at the level you've chosen.
Ah, gotcha. Well, for the first time out, we're not going to attempt that. Thanks.
Yeah.
So I'm assuming it's a 1.
Yep, it's a difficulty 1, and then you're going to want to get or have at least 2 momentum to spend if you want to call rain.
Gotcha. Well, I think we'll be spending a fortune.
Sounds like a good time to spend it.
Absolutely. And I'll use the 1 momentum we have as well because I need to generate more momentum.
Like 19 sessions in, and the first time the PCs have used sorcery.
Probably.
Yeah, in the Exile game, we have 2 sorcerers, 3 alchemists.
All right. Wish me luck.
Yep. Good luck.
Don't die.
So die.
Oof. Wow.
I can do some stuff.
That is a great roll. So you have 5 momentum to spend off that chart.
Oh, yeah. Let me have a look here. Oops. Love that journal.
It's a hell of a chart.
Yep.
I know, isn't it? I'm thinking 4 with a continue the call.
So you want to do the Call the Tempest?
Yeah, that seems exactly like we would like to stop them in their tracks because that would be, and then wipe out any evidence that there would be our passing, and continue the call will allow the effect to last for 1 scene longer.
Perfect. Alrighty, so so back at the cave, you guys are kind of standing outside the entrance, taking a little bit of a look around, not really noticing anything out of the ordinary. And you notice that the wind seems to be picking up a little bit. And then you hear like the kind of the low rumble of thunder, kind of echoing through the mountains. And since you're a very skilled survivalist, you're like, weather didn't look stormy. Oh, weird mountain stuff.
Yeah.
And then kind of off in the distance, you do see like a flash of lightning as this like very, very heavy kind of almost stinging rain starts to fall. And it is like a cold rain. You know, like when you get that rain in like early December where the rain itself feels like little like needles of ice hitting your flesh.
Mm.
Canada.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And it does turn the ground relatively treacherous fairly quickly as it's, this like slushy precipitation is falling, and some of it's getting absorbed into the ground, but some of it is like sticking because it's still mostly frozen.
Better make sure there's nothing in this cave.
All right, Claudius, Ragnar, clear the cave. We'll get the cod in as best we can anyway. Get some cover. Mitra's looking after us.
So yeah, I wander back to the cave. Have a slightly black eye.
And I will have to get Everybody has to give me a resistance check. Difficulty 2.
Cave doesn't count as cover.
If you're going inside the cave, then it's fine. Like if you guys have like as soon as the rain started, if you move inside, then you're good.
Oh hell yeah!
Well,
Freezing
that's
rain
to
in the
be
mountain.
determined.
Okay.
Oh yeah, same here. Yeah, let's none of this. Let's get out of the
Oh,
weather.
yeah.
I,
Yeah.
I do seem to know it's coming.
Checking out the cave was the first thing.
All right. So it is dark inside this cave.
Pull something out of the wagon to use for a torch.
Conversation.
I don't think we've ever lit a torch, have we?
Well, other than the things I throw that burn.
All right. So yeah, so it is a fair sized cave that you find yourself in. And you guys notice that there are two passageways that branch off. This one kind of opposite the entrance, and one a little bit further to the north. Since all fantasy maps always have north at the top of the map.
It's tradition.
And I will get Clytius to give me a observation check. I think you've got the highest observation amongst anybody.
All right. There we go.
All right. You hear a kind of like a growling, snoring sound coming from down this way.
Mm.
Yeah.
Hibernation.
I don't want to alarm anyone, but I think there's something sleeping down that there tunnel there.
And you guys,
So was
you do have momentum if you wish to obtain information.
I think I get one for free, don't I? To obtain information, scout.
Um,
First time observing a new area, gain one momentum for obtaining information.
yes, whenever you're in a location you have never been before.
Awesome.
You have never been in this cave.
On a scale of big to fuck off big, how big do I think this sleeping creature is?
It's either enormously big, or there are multiples of them.
Okay. So it's either one really big thing in a relatively narrow cave, or a bunch of little sleepy things.
well, here's the problem. There's a fucking
Yeah.
storm outside. We can't go out that way. We have to deal with whatever's in here first.
We could just stay here in the entryway and be real quiet. I mean, it's a lot less exciting, but we could do it.
And as you're kind of talking to the captain, still kind of keeping your ears, on the sound. As the sounds kind of like rise in pitch and stuff, it is definitely multiples.
Okay. Well, what's the answer?
Well, if the storm doesn't wake them up, whenever those riders get here, assuming they can find us, that's going to be a racket. I'd rather have, ensure that we only have to deal with one flank at a time. There's only so many of us.
I felt
Or
before the weather set in, I was able to see, and they're about an hour and a half away. Well, that was before the storm.
and hear me out. We pull everything into the northern part of the cave, and we make some snowy looking tracks to the other part of the cave, and then we get real quiet in the northern part of the cave.
I like it. It's a good idea. Assuming there's nothing up there.
Aye.
Bring your NPCs on for you here too. Alrighty.
Right. So we'll get the wagon and the horses stashed in the upper area
Okay.
if we can.
The horses do not want to come into the cave.
Oh, that's a problem.
Like you start to like coax them in, and they kind of like whinny a little bit, and you can very quietly kind of shush them so that they don't wake up what might be in the back of the cave. But they kind of plant their stubborn little like mule-like hooves, and they're like kind of like just look at you like the "Are you crazy? I'm not going in there." Look.
Does anybody speak horse?
No.
That's what I like about boats. They go where you point them.
Well, the good news is I think the weather's going to drive them inside anyway.
Aye. It looks particularly punishing out there.
Does anybody actually have animal handling?
I have a pretty high roll, but no expertise or focus.
I don't know. Do you consider 7 a high number? I don't have any points in it either.
I got a 12 at 0.
Oh,
So,
Ragnar actually has animal handling of 2.
wow.
So Ragnar will be able to tell you that whatever it hears in the cave is scaring the horses more than the storm is.
Carnivores.
Well, we can't kill the storm.
All right, let's form up. We're heading east.
Okay.
All right. Dun, 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 dun.
Who is leading the way?
I will.
Okay. And I assume you guys are stealthing.
As best we can with a light. Yep.
Torch and axe.
Give me a stealth roll, Clytius.
I'll get a torch going as well, just in case.
Okay. All right.
It's pretty good.
So as you make your way down this little tunnel, you can see large whitish shapes seeming to be asleep. Probably about a half dozen or so. They are white, white furred, large, probably easily the size of your horses.
Canine, ursine.
Definitely bears.
Huh. Kind of ran into those yesterday.
Yep.
The bears.
They're big dogs or something. I don't know.
Well, they're
I
kind
grew
of
up. I grew up on a ship.
aye. So the bears are kind of like their own thing. They're kind of like if you took a wolf and made it about 3 times the size, and gave it sometimes a fairly nasty attitude, Yeah, although I've never seen white ones before. Most of the ones in my area of the world were either black or brown. However, we could chalk these up to being quite dangerous.
They're a whole lot bigger than the bears I've used to seeing.
Aye, but still, humans hunt them. You know, like you can't be ravaged by having a bunch of them show up on your property and try to kill all your chickens.
Well, if nothing else, I assume they're flammable, yeah?
Oh, highly, I suspect.
And as as one of them kind of like rolls over in its sleep, and Clytius, you get like a good look at this. You would guess it's probably about like 9 feet from like nose to butt, and weighs maybe 3/4 of a ton.
Right. Orders, Cut.
But they do not seem to have noticed you. Outside, there's another very loud peal of thunder.
Well, if the captain thinks we should kill him, I'll try and sneak up on one and chop its head off with an axe before it can rouse itself.
I have a better idea, or a different one. How about we form up at this little area here, so they can't all get to us at once, and then Rory, maybe you can
Give us a light source.
right.
I don't know if we want to smoke up this cave if we're going to be laying low in here.
It can be put out.
You guys do notice, like, because a couple of you have torches going, the smoke from the torch does seem to be finding a way out, probably a natural smoke hole or something higher up in the roof of the cave.
Right, then we'll just form up with the shield maiden and the shield wall in the front. Clydius, maybe, if we can fit them all in there.
All right. Once they get formed up, Chris.
Yep.
Can I get close enough to lay a thump on one with the axe?
You can. It's just a question of whether or not you can do it without it noticing.
Well, I always have. If they're formed up, I've got somewhere to fall back to, right?
Yep.
So that's.
So if you would,
I think that's my plan.
perfect. If you
'Cause
would
I
like
haven't
to
come
get,
all the way back yet.
yep. If you would like to get close enough to thump it without it noticing, that will be a stealth check.
Sure.
Let's get Ragnar's group maybe about there-ish.
Doom, 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 doom.
Sorry, what did you want Ragnar's group? Perfect. All right. So yeah, Clytius, you sneak right up to one.
Thwack.
Okay. Because it is prone, you do get I believe it's 2 bonus momentum.
And they wouldn't have guards, so free exploit.
whether or not it has guard doesn't matter. Free exploit is because of
Oh,
the
that's
fact
crap.
that because it doesn't know you. It doesn't know you're there, so you could exploit for free if you like.
I
It'll
don't.
it'll give your attack piercing too.
Oh, okay. Yeah, okay. I'll spend 1 momentum for the bonus dice to give me 2.
Sure. All right. So you get 2 bonus moments because it's prone, so 3 momentum.
Okay.
Alrighty. You whack the bear.
All those are good.
Uh, 10 physical. Right.
Is that enough for a wound?
It is.
All right, then Axe does 2 for intense.
Yep. So yeah, so you sneak up and you like bring this axe down on this bear and cut it grievously. But as it dies and the smell of blood hits the room, you can see the others wake up.
Yeah, dodging back through the crack.
Okay. Right. Well, you'll be able to move on your next turn.
Oh, okay.
Because
Yeah,
it
we
would
go
have
first anyway, right?
it would have taken your move to get up to it.
Okay.
Okay. So
Can I spend my 2 momentum I generated for another action to move?
you can only move once around.
Okay.
That's why swimming sucks.
All right. But you guys are up as you start to hear growling sounds coming from down that way.
I mean, on the one side, swimming sucks. On the other side, I played a character that fell into water with full plate mail and punched a shark to death while I was there.
Nice. I think we'll let Claudius start.
Alrighty, I'll fall back.
Okay.
Join the line and ready an attack.
All right.
I'm going to stay where I am. I'm also going to ready an attack with whatever my big show is. Heed my words.
All right. Caro. Done. Clytius. Done. Rory.
Oh, I'm just gonna ready, the little alchemical thing here and wait for an opportunity to light something on fire as it comes up the passage.
Okay. Ragnar will ready. You see your shield wall all gets ready.
Ready's all around.
The bears.
In through the gap first, it's the fridge.
So yeah, you guys can hear movement, and it sounds like things that are large are again they won't be able to attack because they have to get up from prone and then move. But they are definitely interested in seeing what's going on. All right, those of you with ready actions can go. That's about as far as the bears get. So they get up to Ragnar and his group.
Cool. I'll throw some fire at the one in the middle.
Okay.
I'm going to use a number 2 singular, I think. I don't want too much splash this close. And I think I'll spend a momentum. I'll roll the 19.
Okay, perfect. I'm just rolling for Ragnar and his crew there. All right. That is 1 momentum because it'd be difficulty 2 because there is on away, but
Okay.
still 1 momentum. Ragnar and his crew chop into this one that comes charging at him.
Okay. So this one is 4 damage and incendiary 3 and spread 1.
Okay, so it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 damage.
Can I there was what, 2 blanks in there, right?
Just 1 actually. No, 2. Sorry, yes.
Yeah. So can I spend the momentum to re-roll those 2?
Sure can.
All right, let's play.
There you go.
Much better.
So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 damage, and then spread for 3. Sorry, how many levels of spread do you have?
Spread 1.
Spread 1. So takes 6, spreads for 3, and then he is on fire as well.
Yeah, for like what, 3 rounds?
1 round, but you roll the damage each round, and if you roll any more effects, it will continue.
Oh, what does the 3 mean then for incendiary 3? I just thought it meant 3 rounds.
That's how many dice of fire damage you're going to roll.
Oh, okay. Good, good, good.
And then if you roll any effects on those 3 dice, it continues to burn.
Oh, lovely, lovely. I like that. That's good.
It's very good. Yep.
It's like the gift that
Okay.
keeps on giving.
Okay, Ragnar killed his because of battle axe. All right,
But now we got a really good light source.
that's true. Caro, was there anything that you wanted to do?
Yeah, I had a ready. Keep my word. So
Okay.
make this bear crap itself.
I figured I already might have done that.
There it is. We have momentum. I'll spend 1. And I get 2 bonus.
I forgot that on the Doom because one of our Ragnar's guys rolled a complication. Oh, there you go.
That's probably enough. I don't think I need a reroll.
Yeah, that's good. 3 momentum.
And we have what, 4 in the pool?
Yep.
So I might as well spend 1 of them for just damage, I guess.
Okay.
I don't think it matters much. 10 mental piercing, 2, 4, 6 area stun.
Okay. So yeah, you kind of step forward, kind of brandishing your torch, and those 2, basically they flee. They are out of the fight.
Threatens could be good.
So, I mean, in theory, they would flee further back into the cave, but that doesn't actually take them really out of the fight. So yeah. So as you step forward, they just barrel through. There's a bunch of fire here, and somebody waving torches and making a bunch of noise, and it is enough to drive off these beasts.
Well, that could have been worse.
Aye.
Okay. Back around, you guys.
So I wonder what else is in here.
Let's just perhaps hold our formation till something else shows up. Rinse and repeat, as they say.
So you guys are just gonna hold in your ground.
Yeah, just in case there's a bunch more in there.
Or something from the north.
Tactically, we're in a pretty good spot, so.
I cheated myself on Doom. I mean, I ran Star Trek last, and it's 2 threat per person, but Doom is more.
3 here.
Yeah, 1 per fortune. All right.
Is it 1 per fortune?
Yeah.
Oh, interesting. I've been taking too much Doom.
Now the truth comes out.
This Tigger only has 2 fortune. So yeah, I assume we're just going to ready up for the next wave, if there is one.
I think there was more than back there.
So yes, you do hear sounds coming from this way, indicating that those 2 tunnels probably lead back to the same area.
I think we're still okay.
That one's going to move to there.
Hold.
Oh, I had a ready to action.
Yeah, I think we're all ready there.
And that one's going to move there. So yeah, these 2 bears come charging in. So I will let you guys take your ready to action on like the first bear that comes in, I guess. That makes sense. That would be the one that you guys would focus on, I think.
Spend a momentum for a whole bunch of hits.
That's a great roll.
All right, so that gives you 4 extra momentum on top of maxing out the pool.
Oof. So I'll spend 3 on damage.
Okay.
Reroll the 3 blanks. Uh, 7 damage. It's actually 8 plus 3 is 11.
11 is enough to drop the one as it comes roaring in. You kind of like step aside and swing out with your battle axe and basically kind of cut it across, like where the legs kind of meet the torso.
I do like this axe.
Well, cut it off at the knee.
That would leave us with Caro and Rory because nobody else is in position.
I'll still clear this guy.
Okay.
Do it.
We should be full momentum, right?
Yes.
Yeah, momentum's at full.
Where did I get my bonus? Oh, I put it in the wrong spot.
That is still, it is not 9 momentum though.
No,
We have to not have
I'm
it.
down 2 dice,
That's
actually.
the
Yep. So just roll 2d20.
Both of those are successes, so 4
that's who we
successes.
are.
Wouldn't it be... Because you had 4 successes before the other 2 dice.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 successes.
All right. So that'll give you 5 momentum.
And we're maxed, right?
Yep. 1 will max it out.
So I'll max it out and spend 4
That's the way
damage.
it goes.
Yep.
I don't think I need piercing here because I have a bunch anyway. Oof. I'll spend
Smith,
1 to reroll,
Smith,
which should bring us to
but I'm
5, I
having-
think.
Yep.
There you go.
I need to have, I'm having words
6 damage, and that is piercing 2, 4, 6, and stuck.
I will spend the doom.
3 doom. Yep.
I will spend doom to not be stunned. Because this bear is still alive.
Rory hasn't gone yet.
So
En fuego.
Right. Difficulty is 1 because it is close.
Yeah, a little too close for comfort. Oh, I'm gonna steal 2 momentum.
Okay, that is a hit. Generates 2 momentum.
Actually, I think I'm gonna reroll a 16.
Okay. Okay.
There, better.
There you go.
All right, so I will put the 2 in to top up the momentum change. So we're
Okay.
full momentum again, and I will place 1 into damage.
Okay.
Oh, no, hang on. I'm going to save that one in case I need to reroll stuff.
Okay. But you can decide what to do after you've made your dice roll, right?
Ah, good.
Yep. With the exception of buying dice, momentum spends are always after you've rolled. 1, 2, 3. Oh, 5 damage. Spread
something
for
else.
3 more and on fire for at least 2 rounds.
And I'll use that 1 momentum over as an extra damage.
Okay. So he's going to take 6 and 3.
Ah, we might have some barbecued bear tonight.
I used these in my
It's okay.
session yesterday.
we
These things hit
just
so hard.
don't.
So for each effect generated, roll X. So yeah, with 3 effects, 2 effects, sorry. So he's going to take 6 and then 3 and then 3.
Nice.
6, 3, 9, 12. Oof. That's definitely a wound. And he is on fire. But since he is here, he is going to, in kind of a berserk frenzy, just kind of fall upon Clytius. Since Clytius is the one that is there.
Might want to parry that.
I'm gonna.
Oh, difficulty 2. So yeah, as this flaming bear kind of like falls upon you, you like kind of step aside. But yeah, if this thing had hit you, that probably would have been very, very, very bad. But in his wounded state, he is not capable of um, using himself to his full potential.
Good enough. I'll take it.
Back around to you guys. Start of the round, the bear is going to take 3 incendiary damage.
So, excellent.
The bear.
That's 3 dice, right, Chris?
Yes, it is. I found out in Star Trek Persistent, it is actually just flat damage.
Really?
Yeah, so when you get hit by a Romulan plasma torpedo, which has Persistent 8. So he's going to take another 3 and then burn for another round. Oh, that is enough. He slumps to the ground, this burning bear corpse.
Barbecued bear for supper.
It smells fairly rank, actually.
Or maybe not.
I mean, we've lived on
But
ships.
we're not.
Smell isn't really a big deal to us.
Yeah, we've probably eaten worse too.
But yes, a couple of the bears have been driven off. A couple of them have been killed by battle axes or fire or both. To just wait a couple minutes just in case, but it doesn't seem as though there's anything else in this cave.
All right, see if we can get the mules in, clear the cave, find ourselves a good spot that we can deal with these riders if they find us.
I'm going to need somebody to give me an animal handling.
Ragnar to the front.
I mean, I got a 12. What's the difficulty, Chris?
It is difficulty 3.
3. I will assist
But there is no support
Ragnar,
right now.
I guess.
But we know that.
Can I spend a fortune when
The
I
only
assist?
thing you need
Because I don't want him to
do
spend
is
it since
make
he's
sure
not
that
here.
you're
You can, yes.
Okay,
and
I'll spend
that's
3
all
momentum
you
for a
need
fortune.
to re-
Clytius will assist with the actual labor.
Now,
There's 2.
unbeknownst,
And that was, yeah, okay.
obviously,
You got it.
through
Any moving or shoving that is required.
Yeah, you can give me an athletics roll there. As Ragnar and Karo are,
Trying to coax him in.
yeah, they're trying to coax them in, and you kind of get behind and are pushing. And how many levels of strong back does Clytius have?
All 3.
All right, so that would be 4 successes there. 4, so 8 successes, so 5 momentum. So yeah, it does take a little bit of coaxing. I mean, at first the horses were startled because they could smell predators, and then they could smell blood, and they're not combat trained at all. So it does take some coaxing and some pushing and some shoving. And just as you're about to like give them that one final push, there's like this loud crack of thunder from the storm, and they just kind of move inside of their own accord. Finally.
the
Assholes.
Go on, get.
Yeah, mule, yeah.
Yep.
Ooh, you varmint.
So yeah, so you guys can wait out the storm in peace.
All right.
Get some much needed sleep. I will get somebody to give me a survival roll.
I think that's Claudius.
Well, my survival's good, but I think Rory's got the talents for it, right? Is it something we want to just to roll, or we want to gather stuff or something?
It's not about gathering stuff. It's about, being able to, build a fire and stuff because you want to build a fire to keep warm, but you want to also make sure you don't smoke yourselves out or give off so much smoke that you set up a smoke signal to the folks tracking you.
Gotcha. I'll spend
I can-
momentum just to make sure it's good.
I'll assist. Because why's Richard?
By the way,
Wow.
Yeah, 5 altogether.
Perfect. So, knowing that there were like a couple of trees nearby, you managed to grab up some kindling and some larger fallen boughs that are like underneath the evergreens, so that they're not drenched by the storm. Throw together a little bit of a fire. Managed to kind of like vent it in such a way that you don't overwhelm the natural ventilation of the cave, but also not give off your location. It is pretty much as secure and as warm and comfortable as you can make it.
Sweet.
I think we'll take it, right?
You've got plenty of bear meat that you can roast over the fire. There's-
Anything you can do for those hides, Rory? Look like they'll be warm.
Well, we could see if we can turn the pelts into something, I suppose.
you would need to have access to some way to stretch the hides out to dry them. And it's going to take more time than you probably want to spend in any one location.
Yeah, gotcha.
I just thought he might be able to cheat with chemicals.
Unfortunately, no.
But it is a safe and comfortable night. There's the storm, seems to have dissuaded anybody from following you or tracking you. Nobody stumbles on you in the middle of the evening or the night. When you get up in the morning, the storm has passed. It is cool. What is it? It is 7 degrees, so not horrible.
Woo, balmy.
There's still some low cloud cover, probably remnants from the storm, but the storm seems to have kind of washed free any tracks or trail that you may have led to this cave.
Well, gentlemen, I'd say that went about as good as we could hope for.
Aye.
That's 2 in a row.
I got blues.
Aye. We better be wary, though. This might not be consistent.
Well, I mean, if luck's on our side, we might as well keep going. Gotta find a pass through these mountains.
Yeah.
Right.
It's true. Who'd have thought? Land piracy is not too bad.
All right. So Olaf and Ragnar, and Halkata, Katla. I need to run a game that is set in England. They're basically they're kind of conversing. It seems like they're discussing amongst themselves the best route through the Blue Mountains. Do you guys want? We have a couple of options. Kind of depends on. I mean, honestly, some of it's going to depend on what Rorik is doing, and we have no way of knowing that. All of them are going to take us higher into the mountains, but looking over your wagon here, it looks like you came prepared for some rugged travel, so that shouldn't be too bad. You guys, well, the two of you, and he kind of gestures at Clytius and Caro, don't look like you have a lot of experience with the more rugged terrain, but we should be able to get you through.
All right. What are our options?
There's we can go over the mountains. It's gonna be a little bit harder, definitely. Gonna have to be on the watch for some of the things that live higher up. But the odds of being followed or tracked are slim.
You mean all the way up to the top?
Yeah, up one side, down the other.
Oh boy.
What's the other idea?
We're maybe a couple of days away from Shieldbreak Pass. I mean, it's still mountainous, but it is a known travel route. It's a pass to the higher parts of the mountains. It's not going to be as hard going. But if Rorik thinks that we're making a break for the pass, then the storm may have driven him in that direction. So he may be hoping to head us off. I don't know currently. I've been away from home for quite some time, so I don't know if the pass is currently held by the Asgards or the Veneers. So I don't know if there'll be friendly troops there or enemies.
Guess the next question is, what lives in the top of the mountains? Is it more dangerous than our pursuers?
There's snow apes, wolves, bears.
You said snow apes. Are there snow monkeys too?
No,
Ah, okay. Crap.
no, monkeys seem relegated to the sun of the continent. And when we say apes, we mean like Have you been to the jungles of the south? Have you been to the jungles of the Black Kingdoms?
I mean, we've seen some jungles, mostly islands.
So when I say apes, I mean maybe a head taller than you, muscular. Don't seem to exhibit a large degree of intelligence, but more than I would ascribe to an animal.
Do they have 3 arms or 3 eyes?
Neither.
Oh, great. Yeah, step up, really.
If we avoid any of the river, any of the water flow that comes down from the mountain top, we shouldn't have to worry too much about lindworms.
What now?
They're like a large river snake. They are fond of attacking from beneath the icy crust of the river, wrapping around their prey and dragging it to the bottom to drown.
No, that doesn't sound very nice.
Well, gentlemen, here's my thoughts. We absolutely know how to kill or deal
What?
with or
It's
drive
always
off
been there.
human pursuers.
Yeah.
That said, there's potentially more of them. So
Yeah, that's fine.
it's a balance between dealing with a bunch of hunters or a bunch of unknowns. I'd prefer the hunters myself, but what are your thoughts?
Well, I'm good for at least 10. Ragnar, you could probably, him and his boys could probably take down another 10. How many guys can this guy have?
Don't know. Well, now it's cursed. Oh dear.
I'm just saying. Captain wants to play with the numbers. How many guys can this guy possibly have?
Well, it depends on who's holding the pass. If it's the Asgardians, we'll be fine. If it's not, we might not be because he may have an entire garrison.
Well, there's that.
However, I don't know about you, but I really don't want to get dragged under the ice and drown.
Does seem a mite permanent.
Well, let's put this to a vote. I'm going to vote that we take the pass.
Right? Sounds good to me, Captain.
Yeah, that sounds probably like the better option than the great unknown.
Mostly because all my gold's in the cars, but I don't think it's going to make it over the mountain.
It probably not.
That's a really big mountain.
Oh, yes, it is. They certainly have some doozies up this way.
And worst comes to worst, at the very least, I could try to convince someone to change their minds. It's hard to change the mind of a, what'd you call it, a lindworm?
Lindworm.
Probably not very sociable.
Probably not.
No, they tend to be solitary.
Not good conversationalists there.
No.
All right. Well, it seems the storm has passed enough for us to maybe get on our way.
Ah, I see.
Hey, Zach.
I see Zach.
Right. Time to get these jackasses moving.
Alrighty. So just to bring Zach up to speed, the group has put some distance between themselves and pursuers, but not wanting to be caught unawares while they got some rest. They found a cave. A freak storm came in and kind of obscured the pursuers. Cave turned out to be lived in by some polar bears that were dealt with, so everybody had some nice cooked bear meat for supper.
Careful of parasites.
And then in the morning, kind of discussed between Olaf and Ragnar and Bali and Halkatla whether they should make for what's known as Shield Break Pass, which is a couple days away, but is a pass in the lower mountains, so still snowy, still mountainous, but lower levels between Asgard and Vanaheim, or whether they should just hoof it over the Blue Mountain peaks themselves. Pass is easier. The mountain climbing is less likely to be tracked. But the party decided that they're not really well suited for mountain climbing. And the tales of some of the more northern creatures, the snow apes, the lindworm, those sorts of things, they're like, let's make for a pass and hope that that Rorik hasn't beat us there. And the other question, because nobody has been home for quite a while, is whether Vanaheim or Asgard currently controls that pass. So it's possible that you might be running into friendly folks, or you might be running into an entire garrison of Vanaheim soldiers.
Yeah, that wouldn't be pleasant.
Party has basically decided that we'd rather take our chances with potentially fighting a bunch of humans than having to deal with like the really nasty badass stuff, and some of us are not really that physically capable of doing some stuff, so yeah.
Oh, I said from the minute I saw him that I wanted to kill Rorik, so prove a good challenge.
Well, if you're lucky, he's been driven off by the storm and we'll be able to get ahead of him. If we're
Excellent.
unlucky, we'll have to deal with him when he shows up, but hopefully that'll be before we end up at the garrison.
Yes.
So you guys kind of get everything together, load up your cart, make your way. And it is it's not snowing currently today, and it's not super cold. But as you're making your way uh, along these like traveled routes through the mountains, and you start to get higher and higher in the elevation, you do find that it's easier to lose your breath. And the air has a like a little bit of a kind of a biting, stinging quality to it. It is like it's not just that the overall temperature is cold, but the actual air itself is cold. It's going to take you like a little while to kind of acclimatize to it. And periodically, as you kind of like, out of curiosity, kind of look over the edge to some of the paths that you're traveling. It's a long way down. Like you realize like the mountains still loom above you, but you're probably in some cases like halfway up some of these slopes, and you're a good like 500, 800 meters above sea level. It is slightly daunting at some of these vistas that you overlook.
Too far away from the sea. Don't like it.
Yeah.
Ragnar,
here
why,
for just
why in
church,
hell would your
so that those
people
that don't
choose to
attend
live
church
here?
can
It's
be privy to church.
terrible.
Because we're tougher than you.
Well, I don't disagree.
Well,
but
We like to prove it.
I mean, you could prove it in a brothel somewhere warm, I'm sure.
And why go someplace of comfort when you can stick it out in a place of discomfort and make it a place of comfort?
Doesn't make any sense. Not even a lick of sense.
Everyone's gotta make their way in the world somehow. This is how we did it.
Like, folks have no choice as to where they're born. They just have to learn to adapt to it.
If my paths hadn't have ended up the way that they had, I would have still been here.
Well, I'm glad that we were able to take you somewhere warm. Just as I'm glad to be able to take you home, Ragnar.
Appreciate it, Captain.
And now we have your relic. I'm sure your family will be quite happy to see you back.
Speaking of that relic, who has that?
No, who has it?
Clytius has it.
Matthias, may I see it for a
Three
second?
kinds of cereal
Sorry, what was that?
for her birthday.
The horn. May I see that
Oh.
for a second?
Sure, here you
Ragnar's gonna look at it. It's just a drinking horn, right?
It's like a drinking horn, hunting horn sort of thing, right? Like it's not like a musical instrument horn.
Like, no holes in the bottom. It would technically hold liquid, yeah?
Yes, it would.
Ragnar's gonna like hold it for a second, then he's just gonna quickly just pour a little bit of mead into it and take a swig out of it. I wanted to say I did that before we got home.
Olaf will kind of look at you and kind of nod, like it is the horn of heroes, so doesn't do anybody any good if it's not used.
Exactly.
That's right. And think of the stories we're going to be able to tell about this particular journey.
And as you mentioned that, I am going to need everybody to give me a difficulty 2 acrobatics check.
Oh, fuck that. Okay.
As there is this kind of like rumbling sound. And then you see from above you a large shelf of snow and rock come moving towards you at tremendous speed.
Neverland.
Is anybody actually good at acrobatics?
Nope.
10.
Yeah, I'm
does
good.
this count as obstacles, hindrances, hazards, and other difficult terrain?
What's that?
It is a hazard.
Excellent. So my DC will be one less. Sorry, I'm trying not to die.
That's good.
All right. Right. Okay, so Ragnar is fine. Clytius is fine.
Difficulties, what, 3?
Difficulty was. One second.
Down to 2 for the guys that have talents.
Two,
Difficulty was 2 down to 1 for Clytius.
Oh, 2 base. Okay.
Yeah. If I made a difficulty 3, it would have cost me more due.
I'm going to spend 3. Rory, actually, you go first. Make sure you're safe.
Okay. So, do we want to split 3 and 3 on the momentum?
Yeah, I can turn momentum into fortune, right? So
Gotcha. So I'll take 3, and I'll roll 5 dice and hope I get 2 hits.
oh god.
Okay. Well, that's not good. Nope, not good at all.
Oh, the horses.
Red.
These Clytius has good athletics to dig me out if I live.
All right, I think Caro is the only one left to roll.
Yeah, I'm going to spend 3 momentum for a fortune and spend a fortune.
All right.
So technically, I gained 1 momentum, but I spent the 3 in the pool.
Okay, so momentum is at current momentum is at 1. All right. So as this shelf of snow and ice comes down, Ragnar, Clytius, Caro, Hakatla, you guys all kind of throw yourselves to the basically to the cliff, to the mountainside of the pass you're on, hoping that this snow doesn't like pull you off as it slams by. But as the avalanche goes by, it does take Rory, Bally. Oh, I forgot to run for Olaf. So it takes Bally, who's the young trainee, Rory, and both of your horses over the cliff with it. So it's going to be... Well, that's not horrible. That's 4 vigor damage to Rory.
Armor soak?
Armor does not soak.
Okay, so I take 4 vigor damage.
Uh, 2 damage to a horse. Oh. 2 damage to a horse. And 2 damage to Bali. So yeah, so this wave of snow and ice and stuff just like sweeps everybody. And only 1 structure damage to your cart. Basically sweeps everybody off, or not everybody, but half of you off of this this path that you were traveling. There's like a jumble of rock and ice and snow, and periodically you see limbs. The good news though is because they were kind of taken down with the avalanche, nobody takes any falling damage. It's all just kind of the rough and tumble slide down the mountainside.
Yay.
Can't believe we left a galleon to cross a mountain. Claudius, you think you can get them back up here?
Right, Captain. All right, so I will endeavor to get down to the stranded folk.
I'm going to need a...
I'll tie off some rope up here if I can. The cart's probably a good anchor point if the cart hasn't been washed away.
Oh, the cart is down there.
Oh, the cart's down there. All right.
Yeah.
In that case, I'll look for an anchor point up here.
Okay. No problem. You find a boulder that looks fairly sturdy.
Excellent. What do you need from me?
With the rope and the anchor point and human spider, you can climb down. It's difficulty 0 to climb down. You can elect to roll if you want to risk complications in exchange for momentum.
We'll give it a try.
Okay.
All gravy.
Right. So yeah, so you do make your way down. It's easy enough to rescue Rory and Bally, but there is no way to get the horses and the cart back up here.
Are they buried or are they just further down?
No, they just weigh too much for you to carry.
Right. And there's the path is gone. There's no more path.
You're in like a little kind of crevasse. It's not a path per se, and now that all of the snow has dropped here, you could travel through this crevasse if you wanted to, but it is going to be slow going. And you're not entirely sure where this crevasse will come out.
Right. Captain, horses and cart are trapped down here.
I don't.
Great.
Can they be driven from where they are? Around to the pass later? It'll just take some time.
Yeah, they can go through the crevasse. It's just you're not entirely sure where this crevasse comes out or if it even meets up with the trail you were following. Like you're a good 60, 70 feet below that and you were on an incline.
Well, maybe we can get lucky.
Can we carry what's in the cart between us?
Probably. You won't want to carry too much else, but
yeah, that'll be painful. Or as I'll yell up, why don't you come down here? There's a pass.
doesn't look like a pass. It looks like a giant split in the rock.
Yeah, I don't know about you, but I'm not too keen on taking an unmarked path.
Well, I'm not too keen about traveling without the cart.
I mean, the whole idea of taking a pass was to make sure that we were on a pass and not dealing with, lindworms.
Well,
You're probably where the lindworms live.
I think they were a water hazard, weren't they?
I
Don't see any water down here.
we're also probably not high enough.
Are we supposed to be shouting in the mountain?
Yeah.
I'm assuming I'm still down on the bottom. But
Oh, yeah, I assume so too, yeah.
Clytius has never been anything but a sailor.
what? Sound could cause more avalanches? No.
Yeah.
Claudius, I have a question.
Yeah.
Do you think that you and Ragnar might be able to pull that cart if we pull it up in pieces?
Does it come apart? I don't know.
That really depends on whether you've got a crafty person or not. I mean, it definitely comes to pieces. It's a
Sure,
matter of
yeah.
putting them back together.
We can axe it to pieces, but it's not a cart anymore.
Well, what if we emptied it and then brought that stuff up and then tried to bring just the empty cart up and then the horses separately?
The issue is getting the horses up here.
I don't think we're getting the horses.
I got some climbing gear. Might be enough to rig up a harness to lift a horse. I don't know.
Well, the problem with the horse is just the sheer weight. It would be very different if you had like a block and tackle or something like that, but trying to lift, 1,000 pounds deadlift.
Yeah, fair.
Here's what I'm thinking. I'm thinking if we can get the stuff out of the cart and the cart up here in more or less one piece, we'd call that a win. I think the horses are gone. I mean, they'll make their own way. They're mountainous creatures anyway.
Sure, you don't want to come down here and ride the sucker out of here.
Not quite attached to the horses that much. But I'll go with whatever the group thinks is best.
My only thing is, what's a cart without the horses?
But it's a big thing with wheels that Claudius and you and your boys can pull along.
Uh-huh.
I can't sail a cart, Captain. I mean, maybe I could. We had some sails.
I was just thinking we might be able to pull it off. I'm thinking we're safer on the pass, gentlemen. That's what I'm saying.
As
All right,
am I.
let's get this thing unloaded.
Sigh.
It does take it does take several hours since I believe, unless somebody else is doing the climbing up and down. I think Clytius is the only one who's actually skilled at climbing.
I do have some climbing gear. We could set up some ropes to like pull things up.
Okay, perfect. So yeah, with setting up some ropes and and human spider and all that, it does take you a couple of hours to get everything and everybody from the bottom back up onto the remnants of the path at any rate.
Well, my thought is once we get the cart unloaded, get the horses untied, send the horses down the crack or the crevasse or whatever it is, bury the cart in some snow once we get it unloaded.
So yeah, I will get I'll get everybody who's helping to unload give me a resistance check.
There we go.
So assuming it's primarily Ragnar and Clytius, I mean, both of you are physical people. You're used to working for extended periods, but also knowing when to take a break to allow your muscles a chance to relax and recuperate slightly. So neither one of you suffers any fatigue as a result of this, but it does take time. But after several hours and a lunch break, you have all of your gear back up on top of the path and distributed amongst everybody so that nobody is carrying more than what they can handle. The big gear really is the survival gear that you purchased, Rory's field laboratory, and then like food and water and that sort of thing.
Clytius can probably handle the biggest pack.
So the biggest individual piece is probably Rory's field lab.
Right.
But other than that,
I might. Thank you.
No worries.
and as everybody has a chance to have some lunch, have some some warm beverages and stuff. Those of you that took vigor damage get a chance to recover it.
Yay.
Your horses have disappeared down the crevasse for better or for worse. The remnants of your cart are buried just in case anybody does happen to come this way. And you guys set off on foot deeper into the mountains, headed
Well,
for...
I mean, it's one thing to leave it looking like there was an avalanche here. It's another thing to leave it look like, there's a cart down there.
For sure. You guys continue to make your way towards Shieldbreak Pass. And we will take a quick 5-10 minute bio break. And then we'll come back.
Cool.
Ding, ding.
There's a reason why most sorcerers also have alchemy.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's, that was my thought.
Alrighty. So you guys have reconfigured yourselves following a potentially disastrous encounter with a landslide. It was all things being equal, it wasn't too bad. Nobody suffered any broken limbs or anything.
Could have been a lot worse.
And you pick up and continue on your way. I will get whoever is leading this expedition can give me a let's call it a survival check. Just kind of pick your way through the area and not set off any more landslides now that the entire area has proven to be unstable.
Okay. I've got that sunstone for -1 penalty to navigation.
Perfect. So yeah, so you can like hold it up and it like filters out the clouds and the other things that would impede your sense of navigation.
Now we got 1 hit.
Yeah, take a moment. You kind of pick your way very carefully along along at least this section of the trail. And
Is one enough, or do we need to rerolls?
one is good.
Okay.
Cool.
It's really just making sure that there's that you don't accidentally trigger any additional landslides. The travel is relatively uneventful after that, and it comes time to make camp for the evening. You haven't spotted anything that looks like a cave or anything that would offer any sort of protection from the elements. So it's really a matter of just kind of setting up on this trail and hoping nothing finds you.
Well, we did bring a lot of gear, so
You do have, like, you guys outfitted for this sort of travel, so because you rescued everything from the cart, you have, you have tents, you have blankets, you have all of the necessities.
yeah, we did like the tourist thing going to the north.
Yeah. You're probably a little bit over prepared, but that's not necessarily a bad thing.
I'm
All right, let's camp her up.
And I assume that you set up watches during the evening.
Of course.
Yeah, I think so.
I take last watch to make breakfast.
Okay. And you guys are high enough in the mountains now that during the watches, as I said, it's it doesn't actually get dark, but during the evening hours, during the night time, for lack of a better term, there's this bluish green glow that kind of permeates the skyline.
That ain't right.
Not even a bit, right?
Ragnar, you would be aware of the fact that this is this is common. This is
Mistness.
yeah, it's the basically the Borealis. That's how far north you guys are. And periodically during the evening, during various sort of watches, you can occasionally hear echoing through the mountains the howls of wolves and various other assorted sounds that, to those of you that are used to spending time on a ship, are not exactly welcoming. But there's no telling where exactly they are. It's just the echo that you're hearing. They're nowhere close to you, but they are present.
Hate this place so much.
And who is keeping watch as you travel the next day?
Do we need a navigator?
Probably couldn't hurt.
I think this is probably navigating.
I can keep watch, maybe. I got an 11. And sharp senses. Anyone got better?
No.
Not me.
All right. I guess Callidius is going to navigate, and I'll observe.
Okay. Give me an observation check.
We got momentum.
We do.
Do we want to spend a little, or do we want to spend a lot?
Up to you.
Then probably at least half.
I'll spend 3 for fortune,
Okay.
because I love that talent.
So there's some really interesting video footage of a Ukrainian Air Force attack on the Snake Island facilities that the Russians have erected and blowing the complete shit out of it. It's great.
Yeah, I saw that. Chris, that momentum pool should be 3 now.
Okay.
And 2 successes.
2 successes. Okay.
Or 1 momentum if it's contested.
Well, Henry,
No, with the incoming heavy snow, it is difficulty 2.
all right, give me.
So yeah, as you guys set out in the morning, it is cold. Overnight the temperature dropped probably about 10 or 11 degrees. It's down in the minuses now. And it is starting to be very snowy. Off in the distance though, Caro, you notice what looked like the ruins of perhaps a guard tower or a watchtower. Basically just kind of like the bottom level of it in ruins.
Okay.
And you also see what looks like a couple of very large humanoids.
No.
Like, how large?
Like large enough that at the distance you're at through the snow, you can tell that they are humanoids. So you're going to guess they're probably 20-ish feet tall.
Yeah, giants.
Oh,
boy.
giants. Can I spend a momentum for obtaining information to confirm there's 2 of them? Or how many there are?
Yes. There are 2 of them. And they also seem to be kind of herding these very large furred beasts. Probably come up to about the giant's waist.
Cool. Maybe they'll just pass.
Well, gentlemen, I've never met a giant before, but the good news is they look like they have 2 arms, 2 legs.
The what now?
I thought you were
In the
dead.
distance there, there's seems to be some sort of ruin and some very large creatures.
Like giant people?
It's hard to tell from here with all the snow, but if I'd guess they're 20 feet tall.
What?
I mean, it's look, see for yourself.
The hell is that?
I don't know, but I bet they could make a hell of a ship. You imagine some of those on a set of oars on a galley?
I can't imagine fitting more than one on a ship, Cap. Have to build a ship around the bastard.
And yeah, they seem to be just herding these two very large fur tusked creatures with them.
What on earth are those?
Could be anything.
Could I roll lore to see if I know?
Certainly. Difficulty 2. Ragnar, you can roll animal handling.
All right.
Kind of god for second place has furry elephant.
Same kind of place that has giant motherfuckers.
And this map is so small for giants. Oh my god, it's terrible.
I think I'm going to steal a momentum.
Ooh,
Good
nicely
job,
done.
Frank.
All right. Ooh.
Excellent. Spend one, get two.
So yes, like Ragnar, you've heard of mammoths. You've never actually seen one before, but you've heard of them. And Rory, during your various assorted studies, those are definitely mammoths. They are not docile by any stretch. They are highly aggressive, prone to using their enormous bulk and musculature to trample underfoot smaller things that are in their way. But their tusks are highly prized amongst the northern tribes. They're often carefully hunted for their ivory. So of the creatures here, the mammoths are far more dangerous than the giants are.
Good to know. Although, we return Ragnar with some shiny tusks. That'd be kind of cool.
How do you suppose we carry all of them, Rory? They're
Oh,
heavy.
if we have the cart,
We don't.
why do I suspect that for these giants, these mammoths are almost like hunting dogs?
More of a probably just a food source. It's essentially kind of like shepherds moving their cows along.
Ah, gotcha.
I would almost suggest we try to just let them pass.
Kind of what I
We
was
have one
thinking.
room.
It's like they're not hurting us, we won't hurt them. We have a place to be.
Yep, sounds good.
Okay. I will get the folks to give me stealth checks.
Ruh-roh.
And let's
Oh boy.
Doo, doo, doo. Oh, Rory's got a health against himself. Ragnar too.
We have become one with the land.
So you guys kind of like crouch low, kind of, moving carefully. Like they are kind of down in this little valley. You guys kind of move to the higher ground, a little bit closer to the ruined guard post.
Dun, dun, dun.
Everything is going well until Karo, who rolled a complication, kind of steps on like a kind of like a frozen over like a frozen over puddle kind of thing, and there's this large, loud cracking sound.
Curse your sudden but inevitable betrayal.
Which draws their attention.
To be fair, there's no puddles on the ship.
I mean, sometimes there's puddles on the ship.
And as their attention is drawn to you, I need everybody to give me a difficulty 2 discipline test.
Hmm.
Is the old complications are adding up today?
Mm-hmm.
Is it a supernatural threat?
It is not. Zach, because you have courageous, you can re-roll 1 die.
Ooh. I will
Actually,
hap-
sorry, you can re-roll a single d20 on any discipline test.
I will happily do that.
Some of them, the wording is different. Like the one for resistance specifically says reroll any
Beautiful.
fails.
Yeah, there's like 1 or 2 that are re-roll all your dice that fail. Most of them are single dice, but some of them are all the failures. Uh, just waiting for. Oh, there we go.
Was it difficulty 2?
Difficulty 2.
I'll reroll.
Oh, I got two.
Okay.
Spying leader does not get much cover.
Aha!
All right. So, as you know, as the attention of these creatures is drawn in your direction at the sound, there's this feeling of like, holy shit, those things are big. But then it's like, we've probably faced worse, and you kind of clamp down, and everybody got the 2 successes they needed, so no fear effects. But one of the giants does approach you. Says, "Why are you here in the lands of Ymir?"
Is he speaking Nordheim?
He is.
I'm going to just say we're just passing through trying to get to the... Wait, what was the name of the place we were going, real quick?
Shield Break Pass.
Just trying to get to Shield Break Pass.
And he speaks kind of like a very broken Nordheimer.
Hmm.
Oh, many small people at the pass.
Oh? Hair like mine, or...
Sometimes
Excellent.
much fighting at the pass.
Yeah, it's tracks.
Recently?
Yes.
Well, that doesn't bode well. All this Nordheimer flying around.
During the last visit of Ymir, many of the smaller people were killed.
Hmm.
See.
Rory, with your lore skill, you would guess that he means last winter, so probably like 6-ish months ago.
I, well, Ymir can be hard on our people.
Not as hard as you are on each other.
Ragnar will chuckle. He goes, "That is very true."
Yes, very much.
So these things have a language.
Yeah, they seem to be conversing with Rory and Ragnar.
Clytius is following the language, but he's not letting on that he understands any of it.
Well, that's very interesting.
Might become helpful later
Do they intend to eat us, or?
That doesn't seem like it. Ragnar will ask him. Will ask the giant and go like, "You haven't happened to have seen a riding party come through here the last couple days, have you?"
Not through here, no.
Ah,
New arrivals at the pass.
hmm.
From which direction did they come?
They came from any points in the general vicinity of Anaheim. So to the west of your current location.
Well, that's interesting.
Yeah.
Ragnar, do you happen to know anything about these particular creatures?
They're very nice individuals. And then Ragnar will just say, "Well, we won't keep you any longer. We'll be on our way."
I will get Ragnar to give me a lore roll just in case.
All right. I'm good at those. D1?
Yeah, you're a Nordheimer.
Fuck.
Yeah, you don't know anything at all about the giant stuff. You do know that they are. You do know that they are rare.
Yeah. Like, this is gonna be a story to tell people.
So you don't have any idea how they, what they're motivated by, or like, do they like gold or full bellies?
Probably the mammoths are more than likely herd food.
Hmm.
I'm just thinking that if we're going to assault a pass that may be filled with knights with shining armor, as they say, maybe a couple giants would be useful if we can bargain with them.
That also raises the question of if the people at the pass are my people, what would they say with us coming down the mountain with two giants in tow?
It'd make a hell of a story, wouldn't it?
I think we should just be happy enough that they're not hopefully going to beat us into submission and just allow us to go in our peace.
Yeah.
And you see Olaf will kind of motion to Karo. It's like if if the past isn't tenable, if Rorik has gotten there ahead of us, um, there may be another option.
What would that be?
Near near Shieldbreaker Pass, there's a system of tunnels that leads to the mountains, but it is dangerous. It is rumored to be filled with the Dragar.
Anyone know what a Dragar is?
It's undead. Fallen Drengir.
Well, maybe I could speak with these giants. Maybe they, with Ragnar's help. Ragnar, could you translate for me?
Sure.
I'd rather fight men than ghosts, Captain.
Agreed. Mr. Giant, my name is Karo. I am the, I suppose, chief of this particular tribe.
Ragnar will actually translate to that as son of Ymir. And the rest of that will be the same. Like instead of Mr. Giant, it'll be son of Ymir.
Okay.
To help him out here.
I would like to bargain. Make a trade.
What do small people have to trade?
We have coin, gold, shiny bits. If that's something you're interested in.
The children of Ymir have no need for such things.
What is it that the children of Ymir require?
Naive, except one day.
He just kind of he looks around at like the snow and the ice, and he looks at the mammoths. He says, "We have what we need."
Well, I assume there's dangers here in these mountains, even for magnificent creatures like yourself.
I will not say creatures, I will say warriors.
No warriors can withstand the might of Ymir's chosen.
True. But my understanding is there's not very many of you. Why is that?
We come when Ymir calls.
I see. So you need nothing. There's nothing to make your life easier, your passage better.
And I'll get both Rory, because he has lore, and Ragnar, since he is a Nordheimer, to give me lore rolls. Right. So Rory, you're kind of thinking, and your study of the frost giants is very limited. Amongst amongst the Cimmerians, they simply just don't go this far north. But you have heard tales of Ymir and of his daughter Atali. And in the stories, frost giants aren't they're not natural creatures. They are manifestations of the winter and of the cold.
Hmm.
So they may carry on as natural creatures, but they are not. They're probably more closely aligned with spirits in a way.
Gotcha. I let that information be known.
Okay.
Well, what does that mean? They gain strength from it being cold?
It basically means that they don't need anything, like, quite literally.
So I can't bribe them.
There's no bargaining with them.
Right. They are like an unrelenting force of nature.
Well, that was worth a shot.
But the fact that there are two of them here means that someone or something has called them forth, either Ymir or one of his daughters. For what reason, you have no idea.
Hmm. So maybe they're not just wandering around, just walking the herd animals.
But at the very least, they have not been summoned to deal with you guys.
Excellent.
I think at this stage we're going to take that.
Seems like a win.
And he's kind of crouched down a little bit, so he's kind of like eye level with the little embankment that you're on. And he'll kind of stand up to his full height. Say, good luck with your travels.
Thank you.
As with yours.
There's not.
Well, yes, Ragnar, give them a proper send-off, and tell them that the sons of Ymir show some honor or whatever it is that is important to these people.
Oh yeah, the entire time, like Ragnar is being like more respectful than you guys have probably ever seen him be.
Yeah, I mean, for Ragnar, this is probably very close to happen, like an angelic visitation of sorts.
Yeah, it's like these guys to Ragnar are like demigods.
Probably more like angels.
That too.
Yeah, they are the servants of Ymir.
Like this is like not very many people get to say that they've just had a passive conversation with a giant.
Sweet. So we're blessed.
Well, we're alive. We'll call that a blessing.
And then they will continue to herd their mammoths away.
And we should. Although, what time of day is it? I mean, we do potentially have cover here.
It's still relatively early, probably like noonish.
Well, or at least a place to sit down and have some wine.
And as they continue, the mammoths are kind of like grumpy and aggressive, and one of them literally just kind of like scoops a mammoth up like you would pick like a puppy up under your arm, and kind of moves it in the right direction.
We could have used those with the horses.
Yeah.
Oh well.
And they just continue on their way.
Oh,
And they do actually, once they get like a certain distance away, they just kind of like fade into the snowfall.
Hard to trust something that can't be bribed.
Funny, you'd
I
think that
can't
would
wait
be
to tell Ortho about this.
You could have tried foot rubs, Captain.
Well, you got stronger hands than me, my friend.
I suppose. Would have been funny though.
As far as I could tell, this is a sign from Yumiya we're on the right track, y'all.
Mhm.
We can use all the help we can get.
So yeah, you guys have a quick little lunch. Kind of ponder your options. If the pass is held by the veneer, then you're going to need to deal with that. Or if you're going to go through the tunnels, um, you may have to face undead.
So the question, I guess, is will we be able to ascertain the information of who controls the pass before we have to use the tunnels?
It would be like you could get into position to kind of oversee the pass, and then if you decide to use the tunnels, you'd have to backtrack a little bit. Like not a lot, but a little bit.
All right, that's not bad. I think that probably is our best course of action.
I have a question, Rory.
Aye.
If we take a bunch of your exploding thingamajiggers and we put them in the right place, could we just bury that pass if the bad guys are there?
Right.
Well, unfortunately, Captain, the fuel bombs are basically fire. They get some shock and awe for sure, but they're not like a proper explosive powder. They're just an awful lot of flames. Like Greek fire is not going to take down a mountainside.
Right. And what if we rolled a bunch of big stones down?
Well, it depends. I don't know how big the pass is.
Suppose we'll have to go look
We only need
first.
so many.
Aye, we'll go put eyes on it. We might get lucky, and it may actually be in Asgardian hands.
Well, that's assuming the Asgardians are going to be happy to see us. My understanding is Ragnar's family's been, well, that's why we're going to do the thing.
Aye, 'tis,
You're back.
but I do believe his people would probably give him the chance of redemption.
Asgardians will be a lot happier to see us than Vanaheimlings would be.
Right? Now,
We're the more civilized side of things.
so we're not even going to get into that discussion. There's not much civilization out here, but I understand. Yeah, my preference would be to deal with people again over whatever's in that fucking tunnel.
I'm in agreement. It's like, Captain, we've killed an elder god together. I think we can handle a few men.
Well, if everything goes well, I might be able to just talk our way through.
Here's hoping.
If it doesn't go well, we have the rest of you do shock and awe, as they say.
Show real Asgardian supremacy.
Hard part about a pass, though, if it's an established one, it's going to be defended. Defended in a way that's going to be difficult to assault.
Oh, aye, it's probably a fixed fortification, I'd say.
I don't think there's much we can do outside of putting eyes on it and go from there. Yeah.
Yeah, I believe that's the plan. It should be.
Well, we won't know till we get there.
All right, Claudius. Let's find us a path.
Dun, 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 dun.
So yeah, following along, it's not hard. I mean, Olaf has in the past traveled this to Shieldbreak, as has Ragnar. It's one of the primary pathways through the mountains between Asgard and Vanaheim. And you kind of get into position. And as you approach, there's a path. It's probably about a good 50-ish feet across. Assuming you don't want to like just go through rugged terrain. And there's a ton of Anaheim.
Those individuals or mobs?
The warriors are mobs. And then the hunters and berserkers are individuals. So it's probably 5, 10, 15, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26.
Hey, Ragnar, which team are we on again?
That's good.
There's like 30 or so of them that are kind of guarding the main route through. That nobody seems to be in the pass itself. They all seem to be up on higher ground. And basically, if you scout around this way, it starts to require mountain climbing and the like. You're hoping to basically take this pass through to avoid that sort of thing.
Right. So they set up basically an archery kill zone.
Yes.
Yup.
And in the kind of in the distance, a little bit like off the map to the left of the map, over in this direction, there is an encampment and a small stone fortification. And Lytius can give me an observation check.
Okay. All right. Sounds important. We'll try. I guess reroll one. Oh, it's all good stuff.
Perfect. So as you're kind of looking, and I believe you guys have took the spyglass from Tevian, so you kind of get in position, you're kind of scanning, and over at the encampment, there's probably another 20 or so people kind of milling about, finishing off their lunch, whatever. No sign of Rorik or any of his men, but their war horses are there at the encampment. Your best guess would be like if they got turned back by the storm and thought that maybe you're headed for the pass, since it's the most logical way to go. They probably rode hard to get here and are currently resting up.
Well, joke's on them. We had a nice rest too.
And as you kind of look down, the crevice, like the actual pass itself, is fairly deep. And due to the rocky outcroppings, there is a fair bit of shadow along the edges of it.
Oh God.
It's possible that you might be able to sneak your way through. You've only got to cover like maybe 300 or 400 feet. The pass itself is not really long. Like it is, you know, maybe half the size of a football field.
Are we trying to get over this bridge or just through this area?
Basically, the bridge is there to get from one side of this kill zone to the other. Your goal is to make your way through this pass, so you
Okay.
don't have to do any actual mountain climbing. Like basically, to the north of the map, to the south of the map, and everything is legit mountains.
So should we just talk to these guys here? I don't know.
Mm. Anyone know this particular culture very well? Like, can Claudius just challenge the leader and win?
Olaf or Ragnar will be able to tell you. It's if there was a thing going on and there was a proper challenge, you'd be able to state the grounds of the challenge, and the winner would, get what they requested.
All right. And so how does that work? How does one call a thing?
The Jarl can.
I don't suppose we have one of those around.
No, and it has to be announced to all of the tribes and all of the clans. Everybody has to get together. There's one happening in Asgard. That's what we're on our way to.
Right. I was just checking to see if there was like a mini thing or a smaller, more localized.
No. Even a challenge to the Jarldom is done properly. And the Jarl wouldn't be here at the battlefield anyway. Not amongst the Vanir.
Right. So the only option that I'm seeing here is that we potentially, and this would be a terrible idea, burn that bridge. But there's hunters on both sides. I don't think we could win this fight. Sneak through or go through the tunnels, maybe.
We don't have a very good track history of sneaking.
Not collectively, no. All right, give me some options. What are your thoughts?
I could probably get over there to the other side and kill that main guy there, Rorik or whatever his name is. Think that would deter them?
Or just piss them off.
Yeah. Olaf, I'll kind of nod at Bur and say, yeah, killing Rorik will, well, he'll be dead. But he is not without friends and allies. They would likely swear a blood feud upon you.
How many horses do they have?
When you look over the encampment, it looks like the only horses they have are the horses that Rorik and his men brought, so 5.
Maybe sneak in, grab horses, and ride like the wind? Not that anyone's very good with horses.
Firstly,
I'm beginning to think the tunnels might be the better option.
Leaning that way myself.
I mean, this route seems untenable because we're just not able to go through here in a stealthy manner enough to make it.
Not in this current weather, no. Now we could hold up, potentially wait for a big squall. We might be able to sneak through. I'm thinking tunnels. What about you?
Well, there might be another option. Do you remember the convenience storm?
Just the other day in the cave, you mean?
That was me.
You've been playing with Zabibi then.
Aye, she's been training me. And I'd like to think to good effect.
Just don't be pulling up any of those fishmen bastards.
Oh no, the only thing I've learned is how to make the weather do the things it does. Which certainly seems beneficial. It's possible that I could everything potentially from rain, the storm. The storm though will hurt us as well, but I do believe I could pull like a fog ground cover. That might work.
How far away can you do this particular thing?
Oh, a fair distance.
Yeah, the main thing with Venom on the Wind is that it is centered on you, but then it extends for a really good distance.
Aye. So basically, I can cast it, and as we move, it will go with us, and it'll be like a rolling fog that comes in for them. Assuming I don't explode.
You can explode?
Just a figure of speech, but sometimes the casting is taxing.
Let me think for a second. Claudius, do we have any cover around here?
I don't think there's much to speak of, except down there in the crevasse.
Yeah. Down in the crevasse, it specifically looks like any cover has been largely cleared out.
Well, you said there was overhangs and stuff.
Yep. Basically, you see like it's like shaded along the edges.
Hmm.
Yeah. But other than that, like in the middle of the pass or away from hugging the edge, it's just open.
Yeah, that's the only cover I see. Other than that, there's a couple spindly trees, and a few rocks. Not really enough to make much cover.
Still not seeing a lot of options. Fog is tricky. And if you bring a storm, we can't hide from it.
It is correct. So perhaps the tunnels are a good bet.
Just so, because I know Jeff is new to sorcery, there is an option for Venom on the Wind called Draw Cover of Darkness, which essentially you spend X momentum and any tasks related to visibility or motion within it have the difficulty go up by X, which would be very similar to the fog cover that you're calling for, but that's mechanically how it works. So if you spend 4 momentum, then any tasks that rely on visibility would go up by 4, including ranged combat.
So yes, I impart that concept to the folks.
Perfect.
Well, you feeling lucky, Rory?
Yes, I feel fortunate.
If you're feeling fortunate, let's find our way through. Feel this chasm, we should be able to sneak through, I think.
I mean, there are only humans there, so yeah, we'll not have to worry about it because they won't be able to see. Or more importantly, shoot.
If nothing else, let's tie each other off, right? We'll get a rope between us, make sure we don't get lost. Because if they can't see shit, we're not going to be able to see shit either. Claudius, you think you can keep us going north?
Might could be, yeah.
All right. I think that's our best bet.
All right then.
So you guys can find a way to like make your way down into the pass itself. Basically kind of down in this area.
Well, this better work.
Kind of like tie yourselves together so that you don't get separated in the darkness. Clytius, you're fairly certain that you know which direction you're heading, and as long as you just kind of like keep one hand on the wall, as it were, you should be able to guide your way through here without being able to see anything. From what you remember, there was nothing. Nothing looked like it would be like a tripping hazard or anything like that. Like this area has been deliberately cleared of anything that might potentially be used as cover.
Gotcha. Clear and steady footing, at least.
Exactly. Right. And Rory closes his eyes and takes a moment to focus and starts calling forth the spirits of the wind and the earth, and can give me a sorcery test. Difficulty is 1. The more momentum you spend after you have cast the spell, the more potent the darkness effect is going to be.
Gotcha. So I'm going to spend a fortune.
Okay.
And then I can spend what, 1 more momentum to make that max?
2 more would max out. 2 base, 1 for the fortune brings it to 3, and then 2 momentum gives you your 5.
All right, I will do that.
Okay.
Does anybody want to assist?
I don't think anybody has sorcery.
My only concern.
Nope.
It would be actually worth picking up sorcery to assist. Mechanically, anyway.
Yeah, whatever. It's all good. Oh boy. Okay, here we go. Everyone just cross your fingers.
Everyone's standing back in case he explodes.
4 successes, 3 complications.
3 complications?
When you do sorcery, any die that's not a success is automatically a complication.
Oh,
Ooh.
this is going to hurt.
Yeah.
Possibly.
But you do generate 3 momentum. So if you want to pump those into the spell, it will increase the difficulty of anything based on vision by 3. And given the fact that it is snowing fairly heavily, that would make it almost impossible to spot anything.
Okay, so we'll save the 1 then. We'll put the 3 in, and we should be good to go.
All right. So as Rory starts chanting, this thick, heavy cloud cover starts to roll in. And it is definitely unnatural. Like it is low enough that it is not only blocking out the sun, but it's also blocking out the glow from the borealis. And it is, it turns from like a bright greenish bluish purple to like a dark forbidding green and blue to like a dark, almost sickly green color to just darkness. And incidentally, in case it comes up, having used a sorcerer's power there, where you can do a sorcerer's might display as a threatened action.
Cool. I'll just take what we're doing now. It's good.
But what am I going to do with 3 complications?
3 sorcery
I'll make a bunch
complications.
red.
Oh, I know what I'll do.
Ugh.
Right. And you guys start to make your way through. I will get everybody to give me a stealth roll. Difficulty is 0. You can choose to roll if you want momentum.
I will choose to succeed.
And I will make a perception roll for them.
So will I.
Their base difficulty is high.
I'll generate 1 for the group.
Okay. So on their base difficulty of 5, they only got 1 success. So yeah, you guys managed to kind of skirt through. You do hear confusion up above. And there are some arrow shots that fly by in a direction that you are specifically not. They're just kind of like firing into the darkness where they think they hear a sound or where they think they spot movement. But it is otherwise a large amount of confusion going on up above. And you guys managed to make it through the pass. And given kind of the range, yes, a lot of magic missiling the darkness. Given the kind of the area that Venom in the Wind covers, and the fact that it lasts for an entire scene, gives you guys ample opportunity to get not only through the pass but also a fair distance into Asgard.
Yeah.
But
However,
as you are moving your way through this unnatural darkness, you can
I
feel
hate that emphasis on unnatural. Okay.
that's Conan sorcery. You feel wispy things kind of pulling at you, like pulling at your clothing, pulling at your skin, trying to latch onto something to pull themselves through from the outer dark. You're fairly confident, though, that nothing actually gets through. Or somewhat confident. Or perhaps just optimistic that nothing got through.
Optimistic, I think, is the right word.
Back, down.
But you have
That sounds like a plot for another day.
Yes. I'm like, what am I going to do with 3 complications when we're like at this time? But you guys are successfully through the Blue Mountains, through Vanaheim, and now into Asgard proper. From here on, it's fairly easy travel because you no longer have to worry about people hunting you. The Vanir very definitely stop at the border because they do not want to get their asses killed. And as you're not terribly far into Asgard, you can see that you start to encounter some nomadic camps here and there. We're just going to essentially navigate several days worth of travel. Nomadic camps here and there as people are traveling to the thing. There's discussion as to what might be the topics. Whether they're going to go to war against the Vanir, whether they're going to go to war against the Hyborians who have been pushing from the east and taking slaves in large numbers. It's very easy to tell that the Asgardian culture seems to be a lot of who are we going to war with this year. Very little talk of going to war with Cimmeria to the south. One or two people will kind of mention it in passing. They're like, the Cimmerians haven't caused us any trouble of late. There's no need to antagonize them. There's tales that a Cimmerian further to the south is actually putting together a war band and is planning to make a play for the throne of Aquilonia.
Well, that's just crazy.
That's just crazy. That'll never happen.
Impossible. Inconceivable.
That sounds fun.
But yes, everybody seems to the general topic as you visit these nomadic camps, and I assume keeping the horn very clearly or definitely under wraps.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, this is a very big thing, and one of the topics of conversation seems to be that the current king of Asgard, Self Coalhair, is unwell. He suffered a wound in battle that became infected, and there's a question of whether the healers are going to be able to do anything, or whether he is going to die before the thing happens, and if so, who'll be the new king? And kind of a lot of kind of like violent political talk at these nomadic camps. But given the fact that it is Q2, it seems a good place to kind of wrap it up as we go. But as you guys travel over the several days staying at these camps and kind of picking up the lay of the political landscape, you do eventually arrive at the site of the thing, which is a very large nomadic encampment. The Asgardians do not have a lot of permanent settlements. They are largely a nomadic people. But they have gathered in this snowy plain in between a couple of mountain peaks. And there's thousands of people here. All divided up into their own little nomadic family units and their own little clans and their own little tribes. And it's not hard to find a place to kind of like set up your own space. And the people are very welcoming. They kind of have the feeling that if you are here, you are meant to be here. You either are Asgardian, or are traveling with an Asgardian, or have business with the Asgardians. So they just assume that you're meant to be here, and you understand what you're supposed to do, when you're supposed to do it, and all that sort of thing. But we will call it there for this session.
Clytius is going to look for some people to drink with.
There is no shortage of people to drink with.
Awesome.
Ragnar's just gonna start looking for a certain somebody.
And we will pick up with that plot thread next session.
Exactly.
Alrighty.
Do we have rest time?
Yes.
Is it time for XP spendings?
Yes, you guys will be able to do some carousing here. I mean, there's still like a week or so until the actual business of the thing. So right now, people are still arriving and celebrating. It's like day one of a convention.
It's the best time for drinking.
You'll be able to spend XP. You'll be able to do your carousing. You'll be able to pay your upkeep, replenish any equipment, which would include your horses, should you so choose.
Yeah.
Horse and cart done.
And everybody can have 150 XP.
Sweet. That puts me at 3,050 total.
You're the chart guy, so.
We believe you. All is well.
So next session we'll pick up with the basically downtime and carousing during the lead up to the thing, and then Ragnar's personal business, and then the thing itself, and carry on from there.
All right. Thanks so much, Chris.
Perfect.
Okie dokie, folks.
All right. We'll see everybody in a few weeks.
Take care, everybody.
Sounds good.
Yep. Everyone have a
Stay
great day.
Have a good day, guys.
Good night, everyone.
Alrighty.